let's talk about getting this Weswose Mini M416 set up and ready to play with. First thing you need to do when you get this is to charge the batteries. They're probably going to have a bit of a charge, but it's still better to go ahead and get them fully charged. So what you're going to do is take the little AC adapter charger that came with here, and you just plug it in right here, and this can only go in one way, so if you try to put it in upside down, it won't. So don't force it. It should go in nice and easy if it's lined up. Plug this into any AC adapter. When it's plugged into the adapter, there's going to be a red light and a flashing green light. That means it's charging. When those lights are solid, it should be fully charged and ready to go. Okay? So charge those up. And again, depending on how much charge was already in here, residual charge, that's going to depend on how long it's going to take to charge them. Okay? And how long they last is going to depend on how you play with them. If you're constantly shooting automatic and just shooting forever, then of course it goes a lot faster. And if you're playing more strategically and conserving your ammo and your battery, then it's going to last longer. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's put a battery in. So to put them in, all you do is just push them, and you should feel it click. Okay, and when it clicks, that means it's in. So we got your power button right here. I'm gonna turn it on. Okay, so we know the battery's charged. So this also works as a safety, right? So power button or safety, whatever you want to call it. If the battery's dead or it's time to change the battery, you just push this battery release button, and then you're just going to pull on it. Okay? So that's all you do to release it. We'll put it back in. All right? So, like I mentioned, make sure that this is pushed all the way back. There's a line there to stop it, so you just need to make sure you push until it stops, and that's where it should stay. I did mention if you need to tighten it, there are a couple little screws here to tighten it because you don't want this moving around. You should be able to push it on and off, but it shouldn't move around on its own. So we've got this all set up, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put this other little battery on here, so now you've got two of them here. Okay, the most important thing to talk about, gel beads, soaking your gel beads and making sure that you soak them long enough. That's what this tells you about. I'm going to tell you what it says basically in a little more concise way. So you need to make sure to soak those for at least 4 hours. I say 4 to 6 hours, and most of the time I just soak them overnight because that is going to make sure they were soaked long enough. Use a large enough container and use plenty of water. Okay? They are only going to get to 7 to 8 millimeters regardless of how much water you use. So you can't use too much water, but you can use not enough water. And if you don't use enough water, then they won't get big enough, and then they will not shoot properly. If you don't use a big enough container, and it's got a lid on it, then they're going to grow to the point where they're as much as they can because they're constrained, and they won't be big enough, and then they will not shoot right. So they will cause lots of jamming issues, or they will just kind of dribble out of the gun. So make sure you're soaking those long enough, you're using plenty of water, and when you're ready to go use them, just strain out any excess water. That way you know you used plenty of water, you know they've made it to that 7 to 8 millimeters. So I already had some gel beads ready to go. So all you're going to do is take them and screw them on here. So it's easy as just turn it sideways, screw them on, and you're ready to go. When you're done playing, make sure that you disconnect the grenade hopper. It's okay to leave gel beads in there if you seal the lid on it and you don't leave them in there for too long, because they will eventually start to evaporate, and then they'll be at the wrong size and they can cause you that issue again. Never leave the hopper with gel beads or gel balls in it on the gun for a prolonged period of time, because they'll start to evaporate. There's a lot of moisture in there that's going to leak down in here. There's motor in here, there's electronics. You will end up ruining the gun. So make sure you just are always disconnecting that hopper when you're done. All right, so I've gone over everything. It's really very easy to use. Soaking the gel beads is fine and easy too. Again, just people sometimes don't use enough water or a big enough container. So this has the great option of having the 2 batteries, and we're going to go ahead, we'll do some shooting with it, and we'll test the FPS, which is the force or how strong it shoots, and I'll show you that in the next video.